welcome to the first Metapunk video
What?
podcast.
Here we are, boys.
Wild.
We're doing it. I'm Jace.
I'm Kaiser.
I am Branton, and we are the Metapunks.
We are
the Metapunks.
We are doing a weekly video podcast where we're basically condensing all of the Metaverse news from around the Metaverse Web 3.0, of everything that we can find and we research. We do this full time, and we're gonna condense it down for you to consume in your morning coffee, or your commute,
Exactly.
or your lunch break, however.
Or your viewing pleasure.
Or your viewing pleasure. So we're going to talk about probably 5 just things that we think are incredibly compelling, things that we think you should listen to and figure out. Just learn how to do it.
I think that there's such an exciting buzz for the revolution of what's happening in the metaverse, and each one of us have our own perspectives, own experience, own takes. And we're everyday people just like you, fumbling our way through the metaverse. And so we just wanted to kind of do an open forum chat, discussion, and here we are fumbling our way through the metaverse, hoping to build a community around it, share insights, tips, and just cool projects, and stay up to date as Web 3.0 emerges. And hopefully you guys can see this years from now and be like, wow, they were talking about it before anyone else was.
And in your video last week that we filmed it last week, but we just posted 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You said I'm an average person.
Yeah.
Dude, we are experts in certain things. We are experts in certain things, but right now, we aren't at the average people, and we're trying to learn and leverage the metaverse for the average person. That's compelling.
Exactly. We're here's the thing: if you have specialized knowledge in one industry, the idea is how do you take that specialized knowledge in that industry and apply it to the metaverse? That's kind of what we're looking to pioneer. Is okay, my background's in business and real estate. Kaiser's background is in modeling and style. Jace's background is in social media content, video production, and how do we leverage our unique knowledge, skills, and abilities and apply it to the metaverse? And also whatever you're doing as well. Maybe you're a photographer. Obviously, you're probably into NFTs. And that's kind of the route and the journey we want to be on.
So the interesting thing is Brandon has no idea what any of these topics are. And we are going to get his first take and reaction on it. But before we dive into it, we want to share a few of Gary V's NFT tips for beginners. Gary V, NFT tips for beginners.
All right, ready? Let's hear it.
Number 1, don't say no. Don't say no.
No.
And instead of saying no, he said most people will struggle with this because they're this is just not going to work. They have that. They don't have a growth mindset. Just be open to it. I'm okay, that's a good first tip.
Right.
Thank you, Gary V. Number 2.
Good point.
Be curious. He said do 50 hours of homework.
I saw him talk about this where he was sharing about his NFT journey. He's in the midst of all my madness for a month, he researched NFTs for 50 hours a week. I mean, which I don't even know how he does that.
There's so many resources.
So within research, what do you look for? Is it the art? Is it the fan base that they have? Is it their message? What do you specifically research?
I mean, it's kind of
a great question
too. If you follow people in the space on Twitter, on Discord, look up YouTubers, they'll tell you.
100%.
And we'll tell you also.
Yes, as we build our community, and enhance our knowledge and follow the right people and sources for inflows of information, we will absolutely do that. So that's our goal.
And the third one is humility, and he preaches humility on all aspects.
Definitely.
Of business. But he says, and I think this is really interesting, people want to feel like they are smart, and they are talented, and they know things. In Web 3.0 and NFTs, a lot of really successful people that are 30s, 40s, 50s, they have to go back to first grade.
Yeah. That's actually so good.
And they are you know what? I know that this way of business is going to work. Now I have to learned this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back to first grade. Like, humility, man. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, not a lot of people are willing to admit that they need to relearn something, or they need to start from the beginning, right? So it's like, that's why, I mean, I even love that we're all admitting, hey, we're not experts in Web 3.0, or not experts in NFTs, yet we do have some expertise, and we want to, like, you guys will be able to see along the journey our growth in our understanding of different projects. And later on, I'm sure we'll talk about, but I'll be investing in certain projects myself. I have a background in real estate, and I'll be, selling some properties and investing them into different projects, which you guys can follow along with.
Okay, thank you, Gary V. Round.
Gary V.
Okay, so first topic we're gonna get into.
Boom.
Do you remember when we talked about Metaverse Reits? And there's like one Metaverse.
Yes.
So I filled out a form, and like this was 2 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, and they just got back to me.
They just got back to you?
Yeah, and they gave me a little
spiel
and kind of like their breakdown, their first sales pitch, and I thought it was interesting. I wanted to share.
Ooh.
So this is
I
from,
love this.
GDA Capital.
Okay.
And I don't know. Honestly, I was kind of confused. I don't know if it's the same one that
I was gonna
reached out
say
to
that
first.
doesn't sound like the same one.
But I don't know if there was some sort of like.
You might have got. Well, did you go to republic.co, or what did you?
I did that one and another one.
Okay.
It was from the Republic one. I don't know.
Well, we can dive into it.
Yeah, we can dive into it. Okay. From GDA Capital, they said virtual land as of today costs a minimum of $12,600 one parcel in Decentraland. The minimum. That was.
And like a year ago, it probably cost like $1,000. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not even at that. So.
And one parcel in Sandbox is $14,400 USD.
Okay. That's right around the same price.
And so this is,
but
and they have they're selling like a January marketing report. So like if you can click to
got it.
like marketing reports.
Got it.
And so this Metaverse company only takes investors with a large appetite. $50,000 or more is like what you have to come to them with to invest.
Do they have to be an accredited investor? Which, if most people don't know what an accredited investor is, accredited investor is a person that has $1 million net worth, or I believe you have to be making over $250,000 annually every single year. So most people don't know what an accredited investor is, and I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure, but thought it was interesting.
I am actually curious because it would be cool to invest in, or create or invest in something like that.
And then they say they're like services. They offer one-on-one consultations to fully understand your investment appetite, ideal check size, and timeline. An overview and assessment of the metaverse marketplaces and valuations. Thought those are,
So that's interesting. They give a free consultation, but I'm sure that you have to be an accredited investor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to be talking with a person that has no money, no experience, or they can't invest any money. But
the third
that's
one,
cool.
Virtual real estate tours of the properties.
That would be really cool.
Virtual tours.
Now, what would you look for in a virtual property?
Yes, Mr. Investor.
Well, virtual property versus physical property,
Yeah.
Two different worlds. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't 100% know yet. However, what I would look for, as I've been diving into, Decentraland or Sandbox, is where's the money flowing? I mean, that's a pretty basic tip for most investing. But like, where's the money going to? Is it going to a certain area where there's like going to be easy access for people in and out of Metaverse? Right? Is there celebrities buying up certain areas? Is there companies buying up certain areas? And you always want to follow the money. Follow the money. So that'd be my first thing is like, okay, cool, you're showing me this virtual tour, but who owns this building, or like what other people own? What's it close to that warrants this kind of development? But however, once you have it, the development side is a whole new pioneer, which I'm frontier.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm very interested in seeing what that would look like, though.
You also get access to unlisted properties. I'm like, this is really turning
that
into the real world.
Okay, so this investment fund, if you invest with them, you get access to unlisted properties. And it didn't say where, though.
No, that's it. Access to unlisted properties, and then they also say how to develop, rent, and list land using their partners in their network.
That might be worth. I mean, even just investing in their fund, just to have that specialized knowledge, probably is worth just the even minimum investment of $50,000. But you know what? After this, we should book a call with them.
I would do it 100%.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's what I'm saying. We should book a call with them. Yeah, like we should book a call with them and see just to understand what they're doing, and then honestly, like if there was a, and most people know that like in investing, you want to have some kind of advantage, right, against everyone else because you're competing against everyone in the marketplace, and so that could be a competitive advantage as I grow my digital real estate portfolio and help everyone here develop their digital real estate portfolio. So something definitely, let's schedule an appointment with them. That'd be cool.
Heck yeah. Whew. Okay, so topic 1. Oh,
I want to ask a question.
Yes.
So I was reading something that said that the housing market might crash because so many people are putting their money into the virtual real estate instead of the real estate. I want to know your opinion on that.
I would love to see that. I mean, like we're so far away from that happening. I mean, I remember investing in Bitcoin in 2017, right around $4,600, and people were buying like cryptos on credit cards. Like people don't remember those days, but people were buying cryptos on credit cards, and that was like a popular story at the time. And I was like, dude, this market is insane. Wow. Like, right. And so like you hear stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, like I actually do believe that happened in 2017 with credit cards, but there's such a supply and demand thing of real physical real estate that like in the future I do believe like the front runners always win. Decentraland, Sandbox, Axie Infinity, like these bigger behemoths now, multi-billion-dollar market cap coins and platforms, they're going to be the front runners. However, there is going to be more metaverses developed. Like that's the thing about the metaverse and blockchain, to where we're still building the Web 3.0, to where we don't really know how much like scarcity there really is with these pieces of land. And so, I just don't think that's even remotely true. Like
that clip out, and in like 2 years we're gonna put it into a video.
Yeah.
It's gonna be completely wrong.
Yeah. So I would not say the housing market's gonna crash because people are investing too much in virtual land. To answer that question.
Oh, wow. What a narrative.
Yeah. What a thought.
All right, up next, retailers are flocking to NFTs.
Yep.
So Gucci partnered with Super Plastic, a global collectibles brand that creates animated celebrities to release a limited series of digital and physical collectibles.
I saw that. I try to keep on the trends of what's happening in the world as best I can, being an entrepreneur. And there was something I thought was really interesting, was the fact that some people were speculating these digital avatars are going to be just as popular as real world social media influencers.
Like celebrities?
Yeah, like celebrities, but there will be like digital avatars. It could be, essentially what's happening with CryptoPunks, right? Where it's like this NFT is so popular that it's an icon status. However, I think as as artificial intelligence, develops, and if people can create a brand and a personality around these digital avatars, I think you'll be able to see people, the NFTs, like actually somehow merging into that space. And I think the art will actually apply to these digital avatars, like the actual like wearables. Like that'll be a huge space in the metaverse, is wearables. And anyways, not to get up on a huge tangent, but I think it relates. So
to transition into wearables, we posted about this on our Instagram a few weeks ago, but Nike acquired RTFKT, the virtual sneaker company that.
Did it say how much they acquired it for? It was, tens of millions. Wow. It was like, I feel like it was over 50 million. I don't know though.
So cool.
Dude, and I think they've only been around. Cool. They've only been around not even that long. Yeah. But it just shows that these multi-billion-dollar companies they're testing the waters, but at the same time, they don't want to get left behind. Yeah. And they know that, as technology has emerged and is continually improving, it's the rate of change is faster. Mm-hmm. Like, we all grew up in the social media generation, and like no one really knew at the time how big of important it would be. Yeah. I think people are going to learn that Web 3.0 and the metaverse, and I think people are seeing it, is extremely important. So
I just can't get behind the whole wearable concept. It's like, why am I going to buy my avatar Nikes but not buy myself Nikes? So I'm going to spend $220 for my avatar to get the Nikes, but I'm not going to get them in person.
Well, eventually they will make a product to where it's a physical Nike and a virtual one.
Yeah.
Think about that, where it's a 2-for-1 special. Oh yeah, you got your physical Jordans, and then oh yeah, I'm gonna wear my J's in the metaverse as well. Like they'll easily make that adaptation for sure, no doubt about it.
They better.
Well, I'm trying to think like, okay, so think about like 12-year-olds with Fortnite. Their Fortnite avatar probably to them they care more about that avatar than they do their real like the shoes that they wear every day. But like my friends, the status that I have on Fortnite means so much more. It's like I want $300 for Christmas just to buy skins.
It's all a status thing, like to feel cool.
Well, and 100%. That's why people are spending $500,000 on Bored Ape Yacht Club or a CryptoPunk. But I've heard Gary Vee speak about this, where he says that eventually our digital life will be more important, or we will value it more than our actual physical life.
Do you think we've crossed that threshold?
No.
Where it's like no going back.
I think
what's that called? The singularity.
The singularity. It could be. It could be. No, I do think. I mean, I think that will happen. I mean, like you already see with social media. Like, why do we put value on the blue check mark? It's a freaking digital blue check mark. And this is a great example. The Gary Vee, actually, I give him all the credit because I didn't think of this myself, but it opened a lot of people's eyes when he mentioned this. He's like, why is that important? Why is it valuable? Why do you care? Why do you trust it? Why do people pay to get it? And it's because it brings authority. It brings a sense of status or, just, influence, right?
What a great transition into topic
Whoa.
3.
I didn't see this list, guys. I didn't see this list.
So number 3, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram coming into the NFT space. So Twitter yesterday announced that you can now, with Twitter Blue, place your NFTs as your profile picture, right? But then it comes in like a hexagon on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, so that verifies that you actually own the NFT.
That you own the NFT.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Because I mean, right now you can just there's been no verification for an NFT because people are screenshotting an NFT and then putting it on their profile. But if Twitter does that, it's a second layer of verification.
The hexagon. I'm like,
wow.
The hexagon's the blue check mark. It's like the hexagon might be more important.
Jeez. I wonder. So if any NFT, I wonder what NFTs will. Is it any NFT for the hexagon?
Yeah,
okay.
Wallet, then,
interesting.
But also Facebook and Instagram, you can display NFTs.
Not
yet, but it'll soon essentially be OpenSea. But Facebook and Instagram will have the same types of services.
Whoa! So you can
make and mint NFTs.
In Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We need to get in the NFT space now. We need the gold rush, guys. This is a gold rush. Like this is a freaking gold rush. We need to find a way to do a how-to. We need to create our own NFTs.
Though, in Twitter Blue is $3 a month. So like, okay, big.
But I'd heard them talking about releasing a Twitter subscription. It's already active then right now because I'm not actively involved on Twitter, which I will be, guys. Don't worry, I will be. So there is a Twitter subscription right now.
Yeah, Twitter Blue.
$3 a month. That's not bad. I mean, it's like one cup of coffee.
This is the gold rush, right?
Yes. Oh, it's more than a gold rush.
If you're making NFTs just easier and easier and easier and easier, what's the significance of that?
That definitely dilutes the market for sure. I mean, it makes it easier for anyone to make an NFT. So I mean, like that's why there is this there is a moment of opportunity here for sure. So like people that can create an NFT, build a community, have some kind of utility or just like some kind of like narrative or story or thing they want to accomplish with the NFT project, they're going to be winners. I mean, now over time, there's going to be so many, it's going to be hard to differentiate. Yeah. So that's why I think like the front runners like CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club are always going to be winners because they've already set it's kind of like Bitcoin, right? It's like even though there's other coins that probably have better utility, it's been around the longest, there's the most money in it, and it's such a front runner, so.
I feel like there's so much hype around NFTs now because you have to do so much research and go on OpenSea, go on Rarity, and go on Twitter, Discord. But I feel like once Facebook and Instagram have those just right in front of your face all day long, it's like, what's the hype about it anymore? If I could see it all on my timeline and I'm not doing any research, why do I care anymore?
Well, I think so they're gonna make a way to where you can create NFTs and distribute them, right? Yeah. But you're also gonna have galleries though. Like they'll have some kind of gallery feature on Facebook and Instagram, right?
It really just means like it's making it how social media now is a position, multiple positions in every company. It's like you don't even think twice about it. Of course, you have a social media coordinator, or you leverage social media. It's like
hello.
It's going to
hello.
Right, it's going to just trend. Like that's kind of the precipice of now NFTs. That's just going to be a normal thing. Of course, you need an NFT coordinator for your company.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Because it's so regular. It's not necessarily the hype. But
wow, no, it's very interesting the way you're talking about that, Jace, because it's like someday in the future you'll have like a DeFi, which if you don't know what DeFi is, decentralized finance. Like, okay, you have a DeFi coordinator, and that's kind of like the person that's your semi-accountant. Hey, move around the coins to make sure. See, like it's funny because now you're thinking about different positions that will be solely crypto. Your DeFi coordinator, your NFT coordinator.
Like, it's not like that's like 20 years away. Like
no,
that's like in a few years.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting framework. Like you're talking about it, like. Now everyone has a social media like person on their team, or if you're not using like social media, you know you're getting left behind. Yeah. So it's like okay.
The fear of all these big corporations jumping in NFTs because like they don't.
And the thing is like first of all, like everyone know like these big companies can afford to be wrong. Yeah. They have multi-billion-dollar market caps. So like anything that we ever say, it's not financial advice. It's just we are just here chatting about it on a Friday. About to go to the Chiefs game, watch us win. Just saying. Sorry for all you other fans out there, but it is important to recognize like these bigger companies are coming in to purchase these projects or whatever they can afford to be wrong, right? Because I remember in Bitcoin in 2017 when it crashed at I bought in at 4,600, watched it go up to 20 grand, put it in these other projects, and they all like crashed. So just context there, have a little bit of wisdom, just don't put in anything more than you can afford to lose, or don't make sure you're doing everything wisely. That's all I'll say.
So NFT started as like a very like kind of like an underground like artists would just post their art, try to get money, but now it's like all these big names are coming in, Gucci, Nike, all that. You think that takes away from the original purpose of NFTs?
No.
Centralized.
Yeah. So like for example, so speaking of Gucci, it's style. It's style, right? And so like style and art always go hand in hand. So, Gucci is just like, oh, okay, there's another way that we can, distribute our style, our art, which is through their luxury bags or whatever, their clothing, whatever they have. So I don't see a big differentiation there. I mean,
you think it's taking money from the little guys?
I mean, that's been happening for all human history. So, like, I don't think that's ever going to change. Like, that being said, the crypto community, if it's never been a better time to be a nerd. I mean, like, that's not a hot take. Like, that's just a fact. Like, it's never been a better time to have, software engineering skills, to understand how to code, to be a gamer. Like, think about, like, even in the last 5 years with the emergence of, like, Twitch, which Twitch only really emerged over the last, like, 3 years, I'd say, maybe 5 years ago. But, like, people were studying to go to like pursue, like real careers. Like, okay, I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna be a lawyer, I'm gonna be a doctor. Now it's like, okay, if I get 10,000 subs on Twitch, I'm gonna make $5,000 a month. Boom, like I'm making just as much as like a entry level, like certified nurse's assistant. So the world is changing, and technology is always gonna like help the masses, I will say. However, the rich get richer. But I do think if the real utility of the blockchain is actualized, it will help lift the most people out of poverty that we will ever see in human history.
Yeah. The opportunity is there.
And
creating more opportunity.
So a lot of these like different blockchains and different coins are trying to. One of their big goals is to bank the unbankable. Like even Vitalik Buterin, who is one of the Ethereum co-founders, one of his big goals is to bank the unbankable. Like these people in third world countries, like now almost everyone has a phone. But now if everyone could actually have access to like the internet, which is like most people know this Elon Musk is working on Starlink, which is like hundreds of satellites that he wants to be able to give internet to third world countries, like actually where places they'll never get it. And think about if that was set up, and then think about like, okay, now everyone has like a Coinbase wallet. And then now they can just trade within Bitcoin, so inflation doesn't destroy their currency. Which we've seen that in 2021. We saw the rise of inflation just in America. It was over 6%. It was almost 7%.
Yeah,
7%. In other countries, like I saw in like some either South American countries or African countries, it was literally 50 to 70%. So you're talking about these people that work all year, and then like half of their year is just gone like that. Just because of the currency, and if you have a hopefully a deflationary asset, that won't happen. So
Wow,
I know,
that's good stuff.
Crazy.
Wow.
Okay, up next, in breaking news.
Whoa! Breaking news!
Microsoft is looking to buy Activision Blizzard.
I read about this.
Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, and Candy Crush.
And they're trying to buy it for around 68 billion.
$68.7 billion.
With a B.
Cash transaction.
With a B, but it has to get approved.
Yeah.
I think it's by the SEC or it has to get approved by a lot of different people before it goes through.
Expected to be completed in the next 18 months. It's essentially Microsoft going all in.
Well, yeah, Microsoft is seeing where, Facebook is. I don't know how they did it to where they actually got to rebrand as Meta without anyone finding out. Like, that's the one thing I was like, man, these people are crazy. Like, how do they do that? Because they got to jump on the competition. Yeah. Like, they bought, which most people don't know this, they bought the virtual reality company Oculus in like 2013 or like 20. Really? Dude, they bought it a long time ago for a couple billion, like a long time ago. And people are like, oh yeah, like, where's this whole metaverse thing coming from? It's like, dude, Mark Zuckerberg is partial robot. No offense, Mark. I'd love to have you on on our podcast in the future. He's very analytical thinking. I'll say that. I'll save face there. He's very analytical thinking. Very analytical thinking. Very, very futuristic mind. And I think he's seen the power of what happens when 1 billion people use an app like Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram. And now he's like seeing, okay, well, if 1 billion people transfer over into the metaverse, what implications will that have on, human connection, how we communicate, and the industry is impacted. So,
but Microsoft has the like Microsoft Teams too, with like all the people that use it for business. Like that's a huge market where people that might not be in the straight up gaming space can transition from like a work environment to a metaverse to play very seamlessly.
Yeah. If Zoom doesn't step up their game, dude, they're going to get left in the dust. No, seriously, if Zoom doesn't step up and create something where it can be like a more interactive like setting like this, but we're all virtual, like say we have a virtual boardroom, which I know they have it with the backgrounds and stuff, they do, but like they better figure out a way, because if Microsoft buys all those gaming, all those gaming, companies, what are they going to do? Like, because people are just going to start meeting in the metaverse. Like it's so funny back in the day when people had pagers and they had phones that had like these, like they carried in a bag. But think about what happens if like an Oculus, like you have to have an Oculus and you then like that's the way, it's like you're almost like your phone.
Oculus are probably going to end up being as big as this and it's going to like fold out. And
well, you know how for like in Star Wars how the person pops up and it'll be like some kind of like holographic image, like that will happen. I don't know when, but it will. In
a little more like aggressive in the Matrix, where you just take a needle and you just shove it into your spine.
Oh my god! Yeah, that would be quite a reality. Yeah. Hopefully, well, actually, what's the name of Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company? Oh, what's it called? Gosh, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But he has one where they're experimenting with a lot of different ways to like help people walk and stuff. So with why can't I think of it? Oh gosh, it's bothering the heck out of me.
Is it OpenAI?
It might be OpenAI. But anyways, all that being said, he's like working on pigs and like somehow making them walk, even though they couldn't walk and stuff. And eventually he wants to be able to produce like a chip to where you put it in people and it helps their like connect, like makes them like basically a supercomputer, but in a human. Anyways, super. Yeah, dude. I'm gonna go to the casino after that.
Okay. The last topic. We're kind of first up, me and Kaiser on this one. Last week we talked about Unity's Metacast, which is like a volumetric 3D. You capture real-time sports, but then it renders it in a 3D space. And it's pretty nuts. And literally like last week, so first of all, Unity's Metacast, they had a trial with UFC fighters. And so
interesting.
It's really interesting. And you essentially can like, from home, you can go into a fight at all angles and see what's happening. So you can get up close and personal, but it's first being used for announcers and analysts as tools. You know, like the John Madden tool, whatever. It's like the way like 5 steps, 10 steps up away from that. So they're gonna use it as a tool for analysts. But literally, I'd say 4 days after we released that, the Brooklyn Nets joined the Metaverse.
The Metaverse?
The Metaverse. So the Nets have used over 100 high-resolution video cameras surrounding the court to help render a 360 virtual reality experience. Real-time, detailed 3D renders of each player as the game's happening.
See, and like that's why I always thought would happen. Like I mean, I never posted this anywhere. It's just always been in my brain. I was thinking like, once I saw Oculus in like 2012, 2013, I'm like, why can't I go sit courtside at an NBA game where they have like a seat, so like just fully,
that just has a camera.
Yeah, that has a camera that you can like why can't I pay 1/100th of the cost and have a decent similar experience? Like, but with this, it's totally different. I mean, you're talking 3D imagery, like feeling like you're actually there.
Yeah.
You know, watching the play, like you know.
On the video, we'll show a screen capture of the post, but it's like, it looks pretty dang good.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy too. It literally looks like a video game.
Do you think the tickets are going to be cheaper or more expensive for that? Because you would think they'd be cheaper, but
They should be.
But they're right there, literally. I mean, not obviously right there, but like if it's firsthand, like I don't know.
I think it'll be I think it'll be cheaper because anything that you do like software or like anything digital is cheaper to do, right? But it just depends on like adoption, right? I mean, like maybe they would do a release of like, okay, first 100 people, this price, you know. But then if you have thousands and thousands of people doing it, like that's why, you know, like computers and software are really cool because scale it. It's so easy. It's so easy to scale.
Yeah, if you have the support for it.
It's so easy to scale. Well, like everyone knows, nothing will beat going to a game in person. Just like that's why I believe like AMC will still be around for a long time and that's what we should like. We actually saw that with meme stocks. In 2020, it stonks. Let's go Wall Street bets. But that's what we saw was like, you know, even though that was definitely highly, you know, influenced by, you know, Wall Street bets, and that's why they're like alive and still running today. But ultimately, I still think people are going to want to go to the movies. Like I still think they will. You know, if they can survive COVID, they can survive anything. So to answer your question, I don't think it would be a very high price. I think it'll be reasonably priced. But you also have to think about the demographic. Like, not everyone's going to have the means. How are they going to watch it? Are they going to watch it like online? Are they going to watch it versus an Oculus? So you have to think about like who's their target market. You know.
So a question for both of you: would you rather go to the game or do it virtually? Me personally, I want to be in the game. I want to be in the atmosphere. I want to see the players like with my own eyes, like in the real world. I don't want to watch it virtually.
So for me, I look at it this way. I'll let you go first. Go first.
So sometimes at like Chiefs games, I honestly would rather watch it on the TV.
Really?
I really would. Sometimes I would. Like a playoff game atmosphere, nothing beats a playoff game atmosphere. But dang, I really like being able to hear the announcers. I want to be full, just like into it and watch it closer and not be in the nosebleeds.
That totally makes sense. I was just about to say this. The similar take was just that, you know, like I would love to go to a Super Bowl. I would love to go to an NBA Finals, like NBA Finals game. But I know that like the financial means to do so is very difficult for the average person. So like to answer, there's two different questions answering there. I mean, I would like to go to the games in person, but if I could. It just depends on how good the virtual watching is. I think that's like the thing that's to be determined.
The game too, like a playoff game is different than a random like Tuesday night.
A random game that had a real virtual experience, absolutely. I do virtual or TV. A like significant game that like you can say you were there that day on like a Super Bowl game or an iconic NBA Finals game, and you keep your ticket. That I'd rather be there in person.
Here's a thought. DraftKings needs to like get a partnership with Oculus, because imagine doing or like Metaverse, Metacast, all of that, and when you go into the virtual space like watch a game, there's like virtual ways to bet on the game, but like betting in the Metaverse. Like I don't know, there's a lot of like fun games where like you can, I don't know, just being able to like use your Metaverse hands and like throw things into like playing little mini games to like earn more money, and like I don't know, that's kind of interesting.
I think that like, have you seen the video of Mark Zuckerberg with his like robot hands? Like he's trying to figure out how people can feel in the metaverse, like how they can shake their hand.
Stuff,
yeah, the haptic stuff. And I could easily see like there's mini games at halftime for real money that everyone can participate in.
Yeah.
You know,
legit real money. And the first beta version can be like you get real credit to bet on the game.
Sure. And
it's like just keep it all in house, you know.
The whole gambling industry is going to get freaking. It's going to be turned upside down. Like right now, the gambling industry is heavily regulated, right? Because just the way it is, certain ages, certain demographics, certain rules, certain laws. But like online gambling with cryptocurrency is still pretty much the Wild West. Yeah. Like it's pretty much still the Wild West. So I'm curious on how the integration of like gambling, like you're saying, like DraftKings or like FanDuel would integrate into like the metaverse. Like that's going to be wild. Wild times we live in, guys. Wild.
Lastly, if you're still watching this video, first off, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
And gals.
Big.
Come on. Let's give it up for the community.
Yes.
The squad.
There is a video that we released a few days ago where Brandon's talking about 3 of the reasons why business owners would want to invest in the metaverse. And one of those reasons, go watch that video if you haven't. It's really interesting. True passive income. That was my favorite one that you said. True passive income with the blockchain. And I wanted to bring these listeners into more of your pain that you have experienced and how the blockchain is going to help solve those.
Yes. So, passive income is extremely, it's such a hype topic. So many people talk about it. Passive income. And like, that was like the, my dream and ambition since I was like 20 years old. It's like, okay, how do I get passive income? Like, obviously most people know real estate's a great avenue to do that. And however though, I've scaled and built a portfolio from basically 2016 to now of over like 80 units. Now that's different equity partnerships and things like that. But I've scaled up to 80 units. Most people doing that sometimes 15, 20 years don't do that. There's people that are way more successful than me too. However, I've done it, been there working on 4 different apartment buildings. And I will say that, in order for it to be truly passive, you have to have either another human being, handling it, right? Like another human being has to be handling it, a property manager, for instance, or a maintenance director, right? But it's not really like the definition of like, I probably need to create a new definition of like, there's, there needs to be different definitions of passive income. Like, right? There just needs to be different definitions, okay? What I see in passive income for real estate, like for example, I'm still at the mercy of the local state for taxes, for city violations. Let's say there's some peel and paint on a window. I need to go and be at the mercy of the city. So now my maintenance manager has to get involved. I'm at the mercy of tenants, right? I'm at the mercy of banks, right? I'm at the mercy of the weather because your pipes might burst. I'm still at the mercy of a lot of things. And so, not that I love, first of all, guys, I love real estate. I have a whole entire YouTube channel dedicated to helping people find off-market real estate. It's Branson Schreiner. Check it out if you're interested. However, I will say what I'm seeing in crypto and where the future's headed, that like real passive income and is where like if I have a node or a yield that I'm able to achieve through different crypto projects, through NFTs or things related, I'm not at the mercy of necessarily the government. I will have to pay taxes on my gains. I'll do everything professionally and legally, but I'm not at the mercy of the weather. I'm not at the mercy of a tenant. I'm not at the mercy of my bank like getting robbed or like them screwing up my funds or me having to get an approval from a bank or me waiting on a bank. I'm not at the mercy of a tenant. There's just a lot more things that it's truly more passive if you're in it for the long game, if you're willing to, if you have the stomach to take on 30 to 40 to 50% fluctuations. So I've just begun to have more of an epiphany and more clarity of like, okay, like I still love multifamily. I still believe in the future of real estate because they ain't making any more of it. It's not like the metaverse, like unless we're going to Mars, which Elon, happy to buy real estate there too, man.
To the moon.
To the moon. Here we go.
The tattoo of the rocket ship.
Oh. I was like, I thought we were pointing to actual like the moon behind us.
Right here. Yeah. I didn't even see it.
Wow. There. So my take on passive income is through experience of like, wow, like there is a lot that goes into making sure that you manage your investment properties well and get a good yield. And that's why I'm like more focusing on, Airbnbs, which have a higher yield, more cash flow and not as much investment. And then I'm going to be focusing on my wholesale business and then focusing on what I'm doing with these guys, which is, NFT projects, different nodes, different yield projects, different DAOs, and just restructuring my portfolio to really balance my life better, which you guys will be along for the journey with that as well. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a lot of like not real transparency on what it takes to get passive income returns. And take it from me, over 70 units that I have equity partnerships in or own myself, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, heck yeah.
Well, yeah.
Guys, thanks for sticking around. Honestly, really appreciate it.
I mean, we're gonna be doing this once a week. Leave in the comments below if you'd like us to do more of these. I loved it. It's fun. It's so fun to talk about, dude. Like, it's the future.
You get in the moment too of just it's really fun to dive in.
Oh,
Have space to just dive in.
Yeah, just undistracted. And these are the interesting conversations people probably have behind closed doors, or like they kind of barely talk about with their friends. But like, we want you guys to be in the conversation with us. And we have some knowledge, and sometimes we don't have all the knowledge, we don't have all the answers. But we're looking to build a community of people that are interested in these projects, interested in these topics, and if
that's you,
that's you. No, it is you. That's why you're here. That's why you stuck till the end. So subscribe, like it, hit the notification bell if you feel like you should, and give us different topic ideas.
Yeah.
Let us know what else you want us to
we're
talk
also
about.
on Instagram. It's join MetaPunk at join MetaPunk
And TikTok.
and TikTok.
We're on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we also have a Twitter, I think.
And a Twitter.
Yes.
And we
that
have a
has
Twitter.
Maybe a tweet on it.
And a Discord to hop in,
Yes, we're building the Discord community.
Yeah.
That's for sure, 100% fact. So we'll see you on the next vid, guys. Thanks for watching.